Welcome to Small Business Saturday.
Welcome to Small Business Saturday's video series with your host and my husband.
And my dad, Aaron Montgomery.
Join the conversation.
Let's talk some business.
All right. Good morning. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day for those of you that live in the U.S. And hopefully everybody is going to have a good weekend ahead of them. It's obviously a different year this year than any other year. All of the normal fun things that we would do might have been moved or canceled or changed. In fact, as you can see, I am wearing my Firecracker Run shirt here. Oh, it's interesting. The yellow gets some of the green screen too. But anyhow, got that was supposed to happen this morning. And it is a virtual run now. So my family and I decided that we're still going to run here as soon as we get done. And we got our neighbors to join us. So really excited to have our neighbors along. We were blessed to have really great neighbors and friends around us. So we're going to have them join us this morning. A couple of them are going to be riding bikes, a couple of them will be walking, and we're just going to have a good little half hour, 45-minute exercise session this morning, and to kind of kick off the 4th of July holiday for us. So looking forward to that here in just a little bit. Woke up and feel pretty good. I'm back into the keto diet, so we'll see how that is going to be treating me here. Today is actually the third day back, so definitely not as much energy as I'd like, but doing really good. So my name is Aaron Montgomery. I'm with our Success Group, and today we want to talk about asking. I've been kind of bouncing around some ideas in my head about how to, we want to be good askers. Jack Canfield at one point in one of the trainings I was in with him said, that we should become assholes. That connotation was, everybody laughed. Obviously he was going for the joke, but asking is something that's a really, really important skill. So that's what we want to talk about here today. Really looking forward to your guys' feedback too. So if you are tuning in and joining us here this morning, feel free to pop in and say good morning. Kristen, good morning. And Sticker Dad, good morning. And Sandy, good morning. Tanya, morning. Hopefully all of you guys have something fun planned. Again, might not be what we've been used to in years past. Maybe not a whole bunch of people getting together to set off fireworks or something like that, but it could be. So whatever you've got planned, we're going to, like I said, have the neighbors around. Obviously we'll be out in the world and have plenty of distance from each other. So we're looking forward to that. Tony, good morning. Thanks for joining in here this morning. All right, so Tony is printing all day. Sweet. That hopefully is a good sign, Tony. That means you're busy and that business is good. My fingers crossed that's what that means. So if it is, high five. Good job. There we go. Cool. All right, guys. Well, let's talk a little bit about asking here. And again, I want you guys to chime in as often as you feel like you've got something to add or share or questions or good, Tony. Yep. Good. Awesome. Boom. So just, again, like I said, let's make this interactive. Let's have a little bit of fun here this morning. And let's talk about something that I think is a really important skill for us to master. Asking is one of those skills that, and maybe I'm lumping us all in together, but I know it's not a skill that I'm great at. And it's something that we need to work on. It's something that I think most of us are probably not as good at it as we think, even those of us that think that we are pretty good at asking, because here's the deal. It's just not something we were ever really taught, especially growing up, especially those of us that are a little bit older. What we were taught in school was more about being obedient and, doing as you were told and, working hard and putting your head down. And while all of those skills are certainly good skills to have, we also need to add this skill of asking. It's definitely something that's worthwhile. It's definitely something that we need to do better because, humans are a community type species. We we do things together. We have to work together. We have to do those kinds of things. So let's think about some things that we have to ask for. So what are some things that you have to ask for, maybe on a daily basis or just in general? I came up with a short little list here. We've got to ask for forgiveness from time to time. Maybe we make a mistake. Maybe the job didn't turn out how we wanted. Maybe we had a lapse of judgment. So we have to ask for forgiveness. Maybe we need to ask for more time. Maybe the shirts didn't arrive or the machine didn't arrive on time. And we have to know how to ask for more time. We have to ask for support. We have to be able to ask people for help. We need some help here. I'm in over my head. I need to go talk to an expert. I need your help. I need information. If you've got a day job, maybe you need to ask for a raise. And then one of the most important skills that, Tony, that's a great ask right there. You've got to ask them, are they satisfied? Are they happy with the work? Did it meet their expectations? And so you're asking for feedback. That's a great one, Tony. I like that. We're going to write that one down. And then the last one on my list that I think is hugely important for small businesses is we have to ask for the order. We have to ask for them to do business with us. We have to say, okay, I got you the information. What's it going to take for you to make this purchase decision? When are you going to make this purchase decision? So we'll get into all of the tools of this process here in a second. But if there's other things that you guys can think of that we need to ask for, again, these are all asks, and these are not like in a negative connotation. These are, I think that's what, at least in my mind, that's what happens is when I ask somebody for something, it automatically becomes a negative connotation because of the things that were drilled into me when I was a kid about you have to be self-sufficient and you have to put your head down, you have to work, you have to do it yourself. Again, all wonderful skills to have. There are times where we just have to push forward. We have to do it ourselves. We have to believe in ourselves and all that kind of thought and feeling. But there are a lot of other times where if we were to just ask, we'd be so much further ahead than we are right now. So when most of us are asking, and again, I am the worst at this. I like to talk my way around things, and I need to start working on that. I need to get to it a little bit more. But we don't specifically ask what we want. We tend to hem and haw about the ideas. Again, this is what I am became a master at, just kind of hemmed and haw, worked my way around it, all that kind of stuff. But we don't clearly articulate our message of what we hope to achieve and how the other person, can directly help us. So we've got to work on that. So before I get further into this, somebody, Tony, great example. If there's any other example, give me an example of something that you need to ask for, but you have not yet because of whatever reason. It's just sitting out there. You need to ask somebody for it, but you haven't done it yet. So, and while you guys are coming up with a few things, I'd love a couple of examples if you wouldn't mind. What happens, the reason that we don't clearly articulate, the reason we don't ask, two things are happening here. The first thing is, again, it goes back to what we were taught, that we're afraid to look foolish. We're afraid to look selfish. We're afraid to look needy. We're afraid to look not capable. But we're afraid of something there. So that's the first thing that's happening. Happy 4th to you too, Tony. All right, cool. So the second thing that happens is we are afraid to be rejected. Again, we're afraid that if we ask, they're just going to say no, they're going to reject us, they're going to laugh at us, they're going to tell us we're, all of those things in number one. But a lot of that boils down to the things in number two, which is they are going to reject us. All right. So Tony says people are afraid to ask for help. All right, perfect. Tony, we're going to use that one here. So let's use that example from Tony there of people are afraid to ask for help. So let's think about this. Let's say, okay, I need to ask for help with my website. Okay, let's just I'm just throwing something out there. I'm not really at that point. I actually have asked for help with my website, so that's getting there finally. But let's say we need to ask for help with our website. That's just what popped in my brain. So let's say that I need to ask Tanya. Okay, Tanya's there this morning. Let's say I need to ask Tanya for help with my website. Not saying that that's exactly how that goes, and we'll get to some ways to do this, but let's just say that that's the case, okay, for the sake of argument. And I say, Tanya, can you help me with my website? Okay, there's my ask. And let's say Tanya says, no, I'm sorry, I can't. It's not just a straight no. It's just, I can't do it. I don't know that information. I don't have time for that right now. It's not my area of expertise, whatever the no reason is, but it's a no. Well, am I any worse off right now that Tanya said no than if I didn't ask? Am I any, so I needed the help at this moment in time. I ask, and then I get a no. Am I any worse off than I was before I started? And the answer to that is no. I'm no worse off than where I started. And so if she were to say yes, I'd be a lot further ahead though. So the advantages far outweigh the fact that there are no disadvantages to asking. The only definite no that you will ever get is when you don't ask. That's the only time you'll get a definite no, is if you don't ask. So Tony says, people ask for help in groups for screen printing, and then other people make fun of them. I've seen this firsthand, certainly. And that's going to happen. But the people that make fun of the people that are asking, they've got their own issues. In fact, let's tackle this a little bit here. Let's tackle fear. Fear stands for a fantasized experience appearing real. There we go. Let's get this from Lisa. I always have to remind myself that the worst thing that can happen is they say no, but they might say yes, and without asking, I'll never know. That's a perfect way to succinctly put that point there. Thank you so much. All right, so back to fear. Fear is a fantasized experience appearing real. We have no way of actually knowing if the person we're asking will think we're foolish, selfish, needy, or even, and even if they do, should we really care? If you're asking for something that you believe in, maybe it's a donation to a cause dear to you, it's to gain a sale for your business, it's help that you really need, then we should not care how they perceive us. And typically, the way we might think we're being perceived has nothing to do with how others actually see us, but it's rather a lens that we're putting on the world. We've got that internal thought that we're foolish, selfish, or needy. And so we go, oh, they think I'm foolish, selfish, or needy. Well, they really probably don't. And again, if they do we really care about that? That person may have their own issues that they're dealing with. Maybe they're feeling foolish for not asking a question, and maybe somebody made them feel foolish. But again, they chose to feel that way. We can choose to take that, people making fun of somebody for asking something, any way you want. Your outcome, the way you respond to the event, is completely up to you. So if I were to ask somebody and somebody were to make fun of me for going, gosh, Aaron, you're so stupid, you should know that, I'd go, well, I should, but I don't. So you can either help me, or I can ask somebody that can help me. But should I feel any worse about it? No. Should the person that made fun of me feel worse about it? Yes. That they made their choice, and that's going to be their response and in turn outcome. And again, we all do this just out of habit. Sometimes, I know there's been times where I've kind of gone, that seems like a silly question, but you know what? It's not. They didn't know. You're doing the best with the information you have right now today. So whatever decisions you make are the decisions that you make. They don't mean you're any less of a person or anything like that. So again, this fear thing is something that we create ourselves. It's something that we do ourselves, and we need to get over that. All right. And again, a lot of these things that I talk about on Small Business Saturdays are things that I want to talk about for myself, because there's a lot of this and that I need to get over that. I don't ask enough. I don't, do those kinds of things enough. So hopefully we've tackled fear. Again, fear is just a fantasized experience appearing real. Now, does anybody here have kids that are old enough to talk? I've got a 21-year-old and a 9-year-old. So have been through the phases plenty. Those of you that do have kids that are old enough to talk, have they ever asked you for something that they really wanted? Just anything. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be a toy. It could be ice cream. I'm going to use ice cream. So here's how it's gone with me and my kids. They've said, "Can I please have some ice cream? Please? Dad, it's so hot. I promise I'll be good. Oh, I really need that ice cream. I'll be a better kid if I have that ice cream. Please? Mom, can I have the ice cream? Dad, can I have the ice cream? Oh, that ice cream looks so good. I'd love to have some ice cream. Can I have some? Please, can I have the ice cream? Mom, Dad. And then I go, oh, fine. Here's your ice cream." So we learned something along the way as we were growing up to fear asking. And maybe it was the times that we asked for ice cream and mom and dad were like, "Stop asking. You ask all the time. You're driving me crazy." And you made your parents mad. There could be lots of different ways, but we were not born to be fearful of asking for things. In fact, that's how we survive. Babies cannot live on their own without asking for things. When a baby cries, when they're really, really young, when they're just infants, they are asking for something, for food, clean diaper, whatever. They're asking. So we're born with that need to ask. So we need to get back to that mentality somehow. And a technique that I learned from the Success Principles, which is a program that I'm going through with Jack Canfield, is, and let me just post it up. I should have put this banner up earlier, but I didn't. So I'm going to do it right now. And so you guys have the visual. There. SW. So just, you don't have to remember all those letters. But what that stands for is some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Next. Okay, again, some will, some won't. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Next. Meaning some people will say yes. Some people will say no. Who cares? So what? Who cares? Why does that matter to me? Remember, somebody's out there waiting to say yes to me. So let's move on to the next opportunity to ask. All right. So that's a technique. So if you get caught in your head with like, okay, I can't ask for this, then just think that SW. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 SWs there. I didn't have to count that, but all right. So if we can use that, if we can take that technique and we can get beyond our fear, then we can go out and ask. But when we go out and ask, we also need to do a better job of asking to make it easier on ourselves. This way we're rejected less. This way we feel good about asking. Most of us would probably say, and me included, I would go, yeah, I'm not very good at asking. Well, I need to fix that. I need to be able to say I'm good at asking. And to do that, we have to have some techniques. So here's some tips for being better askers. Okay. And there's 4 of them here. And I'm going to put some in the comments after the fact. I'm going to go ahead and add some links to some different articles that I think are worth reading to give you even more and go in more depth if you want to really learn how to be an asker. But in the limited time I have left here, I've got 4 good tips that I think are really helpful and that I'm going to try to implement in my own asking life to become a better asker. All right. Number 1, know what you want. So before we ask something, we need to be really clear and specific about what that ask is going to be. So if I just said to my banker, hey, banker, can I have a loan? And that's my ask. And that I don't really know what I'm going to do with it, or I just decided I needed a loan. Well, what if the banker turned around and said, okay, here's your loan. It's $1. Well, that's a yes. They're doing what I asked. But now this experience has become difficult for everybody because it wasn't clear. We need to know how much specifically we need. We need to be specific about how you'll use it, as well about being specific about when you'll be paying it back, what terms you'd like it to be under. Get all of these details and fill in all of these details beforehand and be ready to present all of these details, because what happens is when the details become debatable after the fact, that's when the asking becomes uncomfortable. That's when the person that you ask thinks to themselves, I shouldn't have said yes. I'm going to just say no to this person from now on because this has become a drag. This whole process becomes a bad one if we're not specific about the details. So the same thing happens in marketing. When we put our message out there, there you go, Heidi. Thank you. I just saw this, and yes, your question about the website, and I did reach out to my web developer guy, Ramdeep, and I've got some information to share with you. In fact, he got back to me this morning. Cool. So anyways, I'm off track there. So the same ask technique occurs in marketing, because what marketing is an ask for somebody to do something. You're putting something in front of them and you're asking them to go to your website, fill out a form, whatever it is that you should be asking them to do. If your marketing is just boop, and there's no rhyme or reason or purpose to it, then you're wasting that person's time, and they're going to see your next marketing message and go, oh, there was nothing here for me and nothing that interested me, so I'm just going to move on. And pretty soon it ends up in the spam box, or they hide your stuff from social media or whatever. So marketing is the same way. We need to have a clear ask, and we need to have filled in all the details to a point where they know what you're asking them to do. Sign up for my email, buy the product, but they also need to know what's in it for them. And it needs to be specific and clear and all of those same things. So the ask part of things, the getting better at asking, works not only in going out there and asking for the sale, asking for help, asking for support, asking for money, whatever. But it also goes along with what we're doing in marketing when we're putting something in front of them and we're asking them to take an action, the call to action. That's why the call to action is so important. And having a plan for what that is also important. So that's number 1. Know what you want. Be very specific and clear about it. Number 2, ask the right people. It's better to ask 3 people who have the best opportunity to help you with your ask than asking 15 people who aren't interested in all. So to determine who the right people are to ask, we need to, again, think about what our ask is going to be and then skip those yes or no questions to start. We possibly need to, before we get into the full ask, we might need to do some qualifying. We might need to, ask some questions that aren't just a simple yes or no. So maybe you're going to first ask, who should I speak to get this? Because maybe you're walking into and you're just talking to the receptionist and they don't make the purchasing decision. Now, again, that's a little bit before, but maybe you're talking to somebody on the phone or you've reached out to somebody on email, and your first ask should be, who should I speak with to get this thing that I need? Who's authorized to make that decision? What would have to happen for me to get X? What is the deciding factor for you to make this decision? So having some qualifiers, not just giving them an easy, are you interested in this? No. Okay. But maybe they're not interested in this because it's not their job. It's not their decision to make. But you didn't ask them that. So all you did was ask them if they were interested. Well, they're not, because it's not their job. It's not their decision. It's not their place. Same thing goes with marketing. Get in front of the right people and make sure you're asking the right people. And if they're not the right people, let them get off that list. All right. So that's number 2. Make sure that you're asking the right people. All right. Number 3. Tony, I just saw your note. I did actually send you an email, Tony, a little bit ago. So check your emails. Make sure you check your spam folder. But I'll shoot you an inbox message with the same email I sent as well. All right. All right. Thanks, Tony. All right. Number 3, our ask needs to come from a place of giving. As Zig Ziglar says, you can get everything in life that you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want. So we need to start with why you're asking and the specifics of your request. Where's that coming from? And then what's in it for them? Again, a lot of times, like let's say we're asking for an order. If we ask for an order, well, we're asking for an order for our business, and there's certainly benefit there. We want to make a profit, but there's also benefit to them. This is a product that they need. This is a product that they want. This is a product they're going to enjoy. This is a product that's going to be useful for them. This is a product that's going to help their business if it's a promotional product. Again, focus on what's in it for them. Understand what's in it for them. Think about what it's in it for them. Why they should be doing business with you, why you're the best option for them, those kinds of things. So if you're focused on a place of giving, then you're going to help them make that decision a lot easier. And they're going to feel a lot more comfortable about it. In fact, your ask is going to feel like you doing something for them, which you are. That's the coolest part about asking, is that you're connecting with these people. You're giving them an opportunity to get something from you in return for them giving something to you. It's such a cool thing. And that's how humans have gotten to where we're at, is that we work together for a greater good, a common good, that type of thing. So that's number 3, come from a place of giving. Number 4, ask repeatedly. Okay, there are going to be no's. If we go back to the SW, some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. So there are going to be no's. It's not a personal reflection on you or your ask. That no, and it's not that they're just jerks who don't want to help you. They may have other priorities, commitments, or specific reasons to say no. It's your job to ask again and ask somebody else or ask the same person differently, but it's your job to continuously ask, okay? Your tenacity, your perseverance will pay off. Let's look at something that I thought was pretty interesting, a stat that I found. A gentleman named Herbert True, who's a marketing specialist at Notre Dame University, found that 44% of all salespeople quit trying after the first call. 24% quit after the second call. 14% quit after the third call. And 12% quit selling their prospect, their service, after the fourth call. This means that 94% of all salespeople, and if you're asking for orders, you're a salesperson, all right? Whether you're the owner or not, whether you're labeled as a salesperson, if you're the person asking for your orders for your business, you're a salesperson. So 94% of all salespeople quit after the fourth call. But the study goes on to show that 60% of all sales are made after the fourth call. I hear lots of talk. I've read lots of things about the law of averages of contacts need 7 to 9 touch points before they actually make a purchasing decision. But 60% of all sales are made after the fourth call. So this these two stats combined together with the fact that 94% of all salespeople quit after the fourth call basically means that 94% of all salespeople in the world don't give themselves a chance at 60% of the business that they could have. So think about it from that perspective. If you could increase your sales by 60% just by asking, would you do it? I mean, that right there to me is like, this is why asking is so important and why we have to get good at it. All right. So don't stop asking. Keep it up. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be a pain in the butt. You have to be a little bit tenacious, and you have to have some perseverance. You have to be creative. You have to have reasons. You have to set yourself up for reasons to follow up. So don't just end the call with, okay, thanks for your time. You know, you want to end the call with, okay, well, when do you think that you might be interested? You know, would you mind if I followed up in this? You know, I think we've got some things on the horizon. I'd love to be able to have a conversation with you again. You know, be creative. You know, this all comes from being prepared and knowing what you want to ask, and then having some opportunities to give yourself the reason to follow up again. All right. And then I said there were 4, but I forgot that there's a fifth. There's a fifth tip here. And the fifth tip is, when we are asking, we're in that process of asking, ask as if you expect to get it. Ask with a positive expectation. Don't start out with the assumption that you're going to get a no. In fact, start out with the assumption that you're going to get a yes. Don't ever assume against yourself. There you go. Don't stop believing. I love it. Don't stop believing. Perfect. If you guys, my singing voice is not great, so I'm not going to subject you to that. But yes, don't stop believing. All right. So we don't want to ever assume against ourselves. It's like, I don't know, if you've ever played craps, the dice game in Las Vegas, or wherever you might have played it. I don't know, for whatever reason, I always get really, not mad, but I kind of am taken aback a little bit when somebody bets on the roller crapping out. They're betting on them to fail. In fact, and again, this is just my own personal opinion, and if you don't believe me, that's cool. I totally get it. But I'm not a big fan of life insurance. Now, I know that there are cases where it makes a lot of sense, and so I'm not going to get into the technical of that. But to me, life insurance is like betting on yourself dying. You know, and I know we're all going to die at some point, but you know, I expect to live a long, healthy, happy life. So that's the same way we need to go into things with asking. We go into assuming that we're going to get a yes. That puts us in a state of mind that will affect everything else. It'll affect the whole conversation. It's going to affect your posture, the eye contact that you make, the smile on your face, the tone of your voice, your choice of words. Everything's going to be affected, because if you're already thinking that you're going to get a no, your words are going to be shaky. You're going to tail off. You're going to be unsure of yourself. But if you're expecting a yes, if you're like, you know, this is formality, I'm coming in here, I'm going to get a yes, boom, then you're going to be in a much better place, and you're going to be talking about this in a much better way. So that's the fifth point. So let me just go back and recap those real quick, and then just wrap this up for us, because I've got to get off to my run here in just a moment. All right. Number 1, know what you want. Before asking, make sure you've got clear, specific details together. Ask the right people. So don't just shoot it out to everybody. You know, ask the right people that you think that can help you. You know, that are in a place of wanting to be. You know, if you're in a community like Heidi and I are with our success group, where it's a bunch of people that want to help each other out, perfect place to ask. You know, to just go out and ask in our random forum might not be the right thing to do. Number 3, come from a place of giving. Make sure that you understand what you're giving back in return for that ask. 4, ask repeatedly. Don't give up. And 5, ask as if you expect to get it. So those are the 5 things. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Tony says always follow up. Good tip. Good stuff there. Okay, so let me just wrap this up. Now, to put a big bow on this, you have to be able to embrace rejection. A good ask can only be powerful if you're willing to be declined with grace. Okay, that's why we want to be able to embrace rejection. Is if we get a no, how do we handle that no? If you don't have the ability to be declined with grace, you're going to get a reputation as someone who people want to avoid, and at some point you're going to run out of people to ask. So after rejection, we have two choices. A, if we get a no, we can ask another question. We can ask for a referral to someone who might be able to help, and just leave it at that. You know, they might not be able to respond immediately. They might not know somebody right off the top of their head. But if you've given them a very clear and specific ask, it is our nature that we will try to come up with it, because we want to be helpful. We want to be able to go, hey, I helped these people, you know, and so maybe I'm rejecting right now, but maybe I'm going to start thinking, and maybe I'll wake up one morning and go, I know just the right person that Heidi should ask, or Tanya should ask, or Tony should ask, or whatever. And I'm going to, reach out to him and go, hey, remember when you asked me about this? Well, you might want to ask this person. They actually might be in a place where they're looking for that, or whatever. So that's the first thing we can do. We as humans want to help each other. That's how we got to the top of the food chain, is by helping each other, by working together. All right. So that's A. B, we can just walk away gracefully and with gratitude that they even gave us the time to allow us to ask. They have their reasons for saying no. And if you want to be able to ask again, you should not make them feel uncomfortable for saying no. You should instead make them feel appreciated. You should make them feel like they helped you, even though they said no. Because again, you will be surprised at how they might go to work for you. Even if they've said no, there's a pretty good chance that they might still go to work for you in the background. So you never know where that yes is going to come from. Many, many, many times, the yes that you really need actually started with a no that you got. I actually had a situation like that happen to me. I was looking for a job. I had asked somebody for a job. They told me no. I was prepared. I was graceful. I was appreciative of their time. And I ended up getting a job because the person that told me no, the very first person I asked, told me no, told somebody else that they knew about me and gave me a ringing endorsement saying, hey, we didn't have a position for him, but I think Aaron's a really great guy. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he can really help. I know you're looking for this in your company. And they reached out to me and offered me a job because I was graceful in the decline. All right. So embrace the rejection, be willing to be graceful, make them feel happy that they helped you, and be appreciative regardless of how they responded. Okay. That doesn't matter. You can choose your response, and that will in turn determine your outcome. All right. All right. So there we go. That's my pitch on asking. If anybody else has any feedback, thoughts, questions, want to go through something, have an ask they'd like to get some specifics about, please feel free to reach out to me. Let me go ahead and put this up here. One of the best ways to reach me is by email. All the things that I do during the day, I have a hard time being near the phone. And so with emails, I can respond as I'm capable. So if you just right up there, Aaron@montcoconsulting.com, reach out to me there. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know if we need to work through everything. And yeah, so there we go. Tanya, you have a great Independence Day as well. And yeah, we're going to have a good run. I'm going to use run in a very loose. All right. We're not breaking any world speed records here. So I'm just hoping to get back before it gets too crazy hot and everybody's passing out. So but we're going to have a nice little run around the neighborhood. So wish us luck. And Valerie, happy 4th, happy Independence Day to you as well. Hopefully everybody stays safe, enjoys as much as they can in the circumstances where you're at in your community. And yeah, let's have a great week. And let's see. The other ask, I guess, let me ask something very specific of you guys, okay? If you will do me a favor, email me, okay? Let's just make it very specific and clear. Please email me things that you would like to explore on Small Business Saturdays, okay? Something that is important to you, something that's important to your business, some information that even if I don't have it, I will do my best to go out and either find somebody that does or do the research to try to provide as much information as I can and give you that information from my perspective, okay? So that's my ask of you guys. Aaron at Montco Consulting, send me an email, let me know what you'd like. And if you have an ask of me, also great way to get in touch with me right there. Awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate everybody tuning in, especially on a holiday here, and for those of us in the United States. And have a great rest of your weekend. Happy Independence Day, everybody.